Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forte. Guys, we are continuing the predicting the offseason for this season here in 2021. We're looking at the non-playoff teams, and we're starting things off today with the New Jersey Devils. A couple of my fans out there here at Goal Line Hockey, some of the big supporters. A lot of you guys were commenting, do a video on the Devils, do a video on the Red Wings, do a video on the Blue Jays, do a video on the Rangers. We are going to go through every team in the league, and yours truly will be the GM of that team and fix this team up. So apologize for that, gotta turn off the phone. Guys, we're looking at the Devils today, and they have some changes that they need to make. And some of you guys have been saying, guys, Kevin, you got to do the Devils. They desperately need the help. So I will be attacking the Devils today. So goodbye, Tom Fitzgerald. Kick him down the stairs. We are now the general manager of the Devils here until he, wakes up from his little nap. So let's get right into it. So the New Jersey Devils, and no, I'm not serious with this. I'm being facetious. I don't wish anything on Tom Fitzgerald. Just got to state that. Okay, so let's get into it. So we're going to start off with coaching. Now, you've got Lindy Ruff as the head coach. That's fine. I think he's a good head coach. Is he a little bit old school? And with this new, young, up-and-coming Devils team, does that necessarily work? Is that the best fit? You could argue yes or no, but that's what we're keeping. They just got him last summer. Give him another year or two. We're going to hire an assistant, and I don't think they're going to be able to get a guy like Rick Tocchet. They may be able to get a guy like Bob Hartley, who hasn't been in the game for a little while. They probably won't get a guy like Gerard Gallant as an assistant. They're probably not going to get a guy like John Tortorella as an assistant. What about formerly New York Rangers head coach David Quinn? Now, this is a guy that I think could add a lot of value to the New Jersey Devils, and he's the kind of guy that could come in, and he's good at developing guys. We saw what he did with Adam Fox this year. Now, he does have his hiccups with players as well. Could he do this with Ty Smith, right? Could he help develop Ty Smith into what has become Adam Fox? We're going to have to see. I think that would be a great addition for the Devils as an assistant behind Lindy Ruff. He has had some issues with winning big games and getting his guys motivated for big games and, out-coaching the other coach. But as an assistant, that isn't really as much his thing. So I think he would be good in a select role. Another change that I want to see the Devils make is at the draft table. And I think they should select a defenseman. Now, the question is, it depends on where they're selecting. If they win the lottery again at number 1 or number 2, that obviously changes things. But let's say they have the 4, the 5, or the 6 pick, or even the 7. I think they should take one right shot defenseman in particular. And that is right shot defenseman from the U.S. National Development Team program, Luke Hughes. Yes, the brother of Jack Hughes. This is a no-brainer. The Devils would be bringing in a defenseman, which it seems like they need help in that category. They've already got enough forwards. You've already got Nico Hischier and Jack Hughes down the middle. You don't need help there. Not to mention you have guys like Michael McLeod and depth guys, so you really don't need that. Or even Merkley. You have a Ryan Merkley. On the wings, where you already got guys. You got guys like Pavel Zacha, Alexander Holtz. So, do they really need more young guys? Jesper Bratt. I mean, again, they don't need help in that category. But they do need help on defense. And I think that was on full display for the Devils. A big reason why they struggled in that East Division was because of their lack of defense. Like I said, you've got Damon Severson, but, Will Butcher has not been the same player. PK Subban really fell off a cliff this year. Ryan Murray has looked good, but again, now that's 2 defensemen, so we need to see more from the Devils' defense. Ty Smith, again, his rookie season, so he's going to continue to develop. If you had a guy like Luke Hughes, that would be a game changer for the Devils. They had some depth on that right side, and the Devils would be really solid. Luke Hughes going to the Devils. So that's what they're going to do at the draft table. Now, we're moving on to a trade. I think it's going to be a fairly quiet summer for the Devils, if I'm going to be honest. But I think in terms of a trade, Miles Wood. Now, he is a restricted free agent with arbitration rights this offseason. So it makes me think, well, what if there's a team out there that maybe wants another forward to add, adds a little bit of grit into the middle six, maybe a second or third line player, and he can put up points. Miles Wood. Miles Wood really struggled for the Devils, really now the last 2 years, but he has had a lot of success in the past. Now, was that a flash in the pan like Will Butcher, or can he revitalize his career maybe somewhere else? And I think the Devils in return would look for a defenseman if possible. And there are some defensemen available, a middle-esque defenseman. And I think we could see a guy like Colorado's Jacob McDonald or a Connor Timmins. The Colorado Avalanche have too many guys to protect at the expansion table. So they may say, you know what, if we're going to have to make some moves. Now, Jacob McDonald and Connor Timmins are exempt from the expansion draft. But if this is a way for Colorado to maybe make other moves in order to get those guys kept, like Devon Toews, they may have to move out other guys. Do they trade a Ryan Graves? I mean, again, that seems like a little bit crazy, but is that something they would be willing to do? And Ryan Graves would fit in really well in New Jersey. But again, Connor Timmins or Jacob McDonald, I like them better because they're more close in terms of value to Miles Wood. You're not trading Miles Wood straight up for Ryan Graves. That just isn't going to work. The Devils will probably have to throw in a first or a second round pick, if not even more. Ryan Graves has been that good for the Avs, but that's kind of what I'm talking about in that regard. I think Miles Wood would be a nice addition in the bottom six to this Avalanche team, and they're probably going to be able to sign him to a fairly cheap contract. They have the arbitration rights and everything. And Miles Wood gets to leave New Jersey, which obviously a nice change of scenery is needed for him. And the Devils add some depth defensively. Oliver Chillington from Calgary is another one. This is probably one you could do straight up 1-for-1. Oliver Chillington has struggled in Calgary. He showed glimpses of success in the AHL with the Stockton Heat, but for the most part, he has struggled. So I think an opportunity for him to rebrand himself as a former first-round pick, Miles Wood for Oliver Chillington. Just a change of scenery. If it doesn't work out, more likely than not, they both won't pan out that well. But again, with Miles Wood, you're selling the potential as well as Chillington. Whether it works out or not, you're taking that risk, but that's part of the package because you realize Miles Wood isn't working out now. He's not going to be a top six player with the way the Devils have their system, so you might as well move on from him at this point. So I have another one thing here, and I think this is a big one for the New Jersey Devils. Now, this goes off of the fact that even if they select Luke Hughes as a right shot defenseman, they still need help defensively. And I think they're going to go big game hunting. We remember a couple years back, they were looking at John Carlson from the Washington Capitals, who ended up staying in Washington, extending his contract after winning the Stanley Cup with the Caps. But I think the Devils will be in the market for a defenseman this offseason. And there's a defenseman right now in Edmonton, and I think some of you may know who I'm talking about. Tyson Barrie of the Edmonton Oilers, right shot defenseman. He adds a little bit of that veteran leadership. He's 28, 29 years old, right in his prime. The Devils have the money where if they want to give him a nice long-term deal, the Devils could absolutely set him up pretty much for life in New Jersey. Now, the question is, does Tyson Barrie see a fit there with Lindy Ruff and the Devils? And that's really what it comes down to. That's really the only question that Tyson Barrie would probably have. The Devils have the money. You're going to be right down the road from New York. So there is selling points for the Devils here. And again, you have all this young talent. You're going to have another top 10 draft pick, potentially one or two. And you have a good veteran coach in Lindy Ruff. You have 2 first overall picks in Luke Hughes and Jack Hughes down the middle. So it's hard to argue. The Devils could have a really nice future, and that bank may be hard for Tyson Barrie to ignore. So if it's not Tyson Barrie, do they go for a guy like Dougie Hamilton? Wouldn't be surprised in the slightest. Do they maybe look at the St. Louis Blues? If they can't, hit any home runs with the free agency side of things, what if you look at a guy that's a pending restricted free agent, Vince Dunn, in St. Louis, who he has been out of the lineup for games this season because the Blues were so close to a trade. So maybe you trade for a guy like Vince Dunn, add a little bit of depth on your left side, a good shutdown defensive defenseman, alongside guys like Ryan Murray, Ty Smith, and Damon Severson. That could help round out the Devils' defense. And again, I think ideally you get one of Dougie Hamilton or Tyson Barrie. They have the money. They have a little bit more to sell in terms of potential, in terms of their development down the road than, say, maybe Detroit or Columbus, who may have more money for a guy like Tyson Barrie or Hamilton. But let's be honest, isn't going to be as close to being a contender status, maybe like New Jersey can. So guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What do you think of my predictions for the New Jersey Devils offseason? What are your predictions for the Devils offseason? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you guys like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, you guys already know what to do. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and an even bigger subscribe down below. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.